When it first came out, its price was almost double the price of a Land Cruiser Prado TX. Right now, the same model year of a Prado costs the same as this Range Rover Sport. Hi guys, Range Rovers have been known for luxury and prestige, bought by people who have deep pockets. And today I'm going to see and give you guys a brief overview of how these vehicles actually age. And I'm gonna keep it simple for you. They don't do well with aging. One reason is the depreciation is the worst. So if you're buying a Range Rover, definitely you don't think about resale value in mind. And the second thing is, as I'll show you, especially on the inside, the parts of this vehicle don't do well in terms of aging. This is a Range Rover Sport from 2011. It's among the first generation. It's the revised initial generation of the Range Rover Sport. So I think this is where Range Rover actually started with the Sport version of its Range Rover lineup. And I can say it's a timeless design. Given the fact that it is about how many, 10 years old, over 10 years old right now, I still will say that it was a very good looking design when it first came out. So I did mention that the depreciation on these vehicles is terrible, and that's because of, one, it comes at a very high price when you buy it, and it's not the most reliable car. That is very obvious. We all know that Range Rovers are not the most reliable vehicle. There's a lot of failure points when it comes to these cars. One of them is the engine, and then the second part is electronics. Electronics have the tendency to just go wrong. Everything can go wrong, from the door, from the keyless entry to the start. I mean, powered windows, powered side mirrors, and everything just tends to fail. There's a trade-off of buying that luxury. I mean, Range Rover is just a name. If you go somewhere and say that I drive a Range Rover, just gives you that upper hand in terms of who you really are. It has a good representation of your personality or a sense of achievement in your life. Should you buy a used Range Rover or an old Range Rover Sport, or maybe any other Range Rover? Let's find out. First of all, the exterior design has been kept neat. I love that the previous owner of this vehicle ensured that they maintained it, and they kept it in a mint condition. The wheels are good, the tires are okay, the body is also okay. I can't really see any dents or major scratches on the body of the vehicle, so kudos to the one who actually previously owned it. But they did some revamping, like this badge. The Range Rover badge that is over there has been redone. It's not the original one that came with the vehicle. Some bits like this are missing. You can't see the reflector on the rear side. I hope these parking sensors are working, even if they have been painted over there. The exhaust pipe is still looking like that. It has some smoke on it, but that's obviously expected because it's aging, so that should definitely happen. I'm gonna go back to the front, and well, I mentioned that it has a very appealing look, despite the fact that it's over 10 years old right now. Range Rover have that name of doing very good designs. That's undeniable. They have very nice designs when it comes to creating all the vehicles in their lineup. They have that look. Let's now get to the inside, where things start to take a turn. Even before I go inside, I'll show you what's happening over here. Look at the door panels. This was some white leather before, but right now it's just something that looks messy. The material on the door as well feels old. There's some rusting going on over here. This is for the speaker. It did have Harman Kardon sound system, however. Another thing is the steering. Look at these cracks and stretch marks. Look at the seats. That's what's going on over there. Another evidence that there was failure. Look at this. This was opened up, so definitely there was an issue with that. The previous owner had to fix that. Also, as you can see here, there's also another opening, meaning there was failure. It had to be fixed. Look at this. Electronics are just hanging around this vehicle. I mean, that's enough evidence to tell you something went wrong. Back seat, It was held up okay. I can't say it's perfect. I can also notice that there's some web, maybe kuna web. So this vehicle was actually parked before it came here, and that's another signal or another sign that it was not doing well for the owner. They had parked it for a long time probably because of issues it had. So you have to be very careful. If you're looking to buy a used Land Rover or a Range Rover, you have to be very much careful compared to how you would be buying other brands. They did an upgrade for the center console, so this is not the screen that came with it, the default one. This is an aftermarket screen. Also, the screen that is below over here controlling the AC has been done an upgrade. This panel is already clumsy. It's moving, so it could be out any moment. It looks pretty good over there. So these controls actually came pretty early. Land Rover ensured that their vehicles had adjustable height from the initial stages of Range Rover. Also, multi-terrain select is over there to switch between snow, road, normal conditions, and other kind of terrain. I don't like the look of this gear lever. I feel it's a bit off. It doesn't really do it for me. It's not giving. I prefer the ones that came with this sort of a knob to change the gears. It looks way better, it looks cleaner than the initial design of the gear selector. There is no sunroof in this car, and surprisingly, I'm going to tell you it's actually a relief, because the sunroof also has a lot of failure points. They end up, especially because of rain, when rain goes into those channels that surround the sunroof, electronics get messed up, a lot of clogging of the parts, so you find that the motors are not working, they move a bit off, a lot of things, you know. Here's one thing that I already noticed when I try to operate the vehicle. The start button has to be like pressed a couple of times before it actually responds. So that's when it went on. I mean, imagine if it does that when you're somewhere and you're stuck in the middle of nowhere because your start button will not work. This screen is actually very, very responsive. It's the aftermarket one, however. Also for the AC controls, similar to the one found in the Range Rover Vela from around 2016, 2018. I will also be surprised to find if the height adjustment is working, because they also have a lot of tendency to fail. Because air suspensions, leaks, I don't know, just everything seems to go wrong with that. The initial design of the Range Rover Sport came with a split tailgate, and you can operate that by using the unlock over here somewhere. If I can find it. Can't seem to find it. This is where it is. So you can decide to do that and open your, just as I was reviewing top this side car, of the customer came by to check it out. To open the whole tailgate, you can use this button over here. And then you'll hear the clicking sound. Then go ahead. My advice, if you're trying to buy such a vehicle, unless you know exactly what you're doing, unless you are someone who understands Land Rovers or Range Rovers in general, and you have a loaded pocket, stay away from this, because they will mess you up. I mentioned that this car depreciates so bad. When it first came out, its price was almost double the price of a Land Cruiser Prado TX. Right now, the same model year of a Prado costs the same as this Range Rover Sport. This one goes for around 3-point-something million. Go check online, you'll find that the Land Cruiser Prado from 2011 also costs about 3-point-something million Kenya shillings. So depreciation on these cars is terrible. They can depreciate in 3 years like almost half the price of the vehicle. So if you're trying to do a resale, it's not your cup of tea. Finish off with the hood. I was really trying to locate where the lever to open the hood is, but I found it. It's right over there. You can listen to the kind of creaking that the doors have. especially the driver's door. Let me go there. You can hear that, yeah? It's a lot of creaking. Also the central, not the central lock, this unlock doesn't work. It's failed. It applies for the rear side as well. 3-liter V6 turbo diesel. I love the sound of the turbo that comes from it when it's turned on. Sounds amazing. But remember, this engine is also not the most reliable. But it is a powerful engine though. It gives you a very good amount of power and torque, low-end torque especially, because Land Rovers have been known to be well off-road performers. The engine bay is a bit dirty. You can see the leaves over there. It's dusty as well. No sign of any hood cleaning that has been done here. Yeah. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit the like button as well. See you next time.